Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So, I've been getting several questions lately about what got me into Star Trek. So, I guess my story is a little bit different, or probably is a little bit different than most people who got into the show. Um, Way back in the day, man, way back in the day, I used to watch this show with my dad, but I always kept it kind of simple that way. So, let me go into the real reasons why I love Star Trek, why I became a canon knight. All right, this is the thing. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, South Side, around 47th and Evans, near Cottage Grove, for people who are familiar with the area. All right, so near 47th and Cottage Grove. All right, this was back in the 70s, man, early 80s. Now, during that time in Chicago, it was a lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot of people think that Chicago is wild now. Nah, Chicago is tame now. All right. But back in the 80s, in the early 80s especially, Chicago was filled with a lot of gang violence and a lot of violence, period, from police officers, man, from just everybody, man. People out in Bridgeport, man, didn't want black people coming up there. You go out there, man. It was just a lot of areas, man, the projects. It was just a lot of areas that I like to call messed up that I later ended up naming the neutral zone. But anyway, um, another one of the great things that was going on during that time, and when I say great, I say that, um, facetiously. But another one of the things that was going on during the time when I was a kid in this era was the crack epidemic. And when I say the crack epidemic, man, like, if you wasn't there, you don't understand what it was like. Like, there was times, man, like every day I could walk home from school, and it was an alley that I had to walk through. Every day there was just needles all over the ground, man. Every day. And when I say needles, I'm talking about like needles, like 10 plus needles every day, all in different spots always. It was a time, man. But anyway, it was a lot of death, man, a lot of assassinations and all that kind of stuff. But the it was a very dire and dark area. It was a dark environment, neighborhood. But the guiding light that I had was my parents. My mom and dad were really good at trying to shield us from a lot of that. One of the ways that my dad did this was through media, through movies, through music, stuff like that. My dad, he played rhythm, bass. He taught me how to play bass guitar. He taught me how to play piano and keyboard. He taught me how to write music, actually. But or got it instilled into me. You don't really teach people how to write music. It's, a skill or not. But he helped me bring that skill out. But another one of the things that he did was get me into Star Trek, into science fiction. And because my dad read a lot, one of the things as I was watching Star Trek, he would always explain, hey, this is what's going on. This is what this word means. If if neither of us knows what this word means, let's grab the dictionary and look it up. So that was the type of dad that I had. So a lot of the things in Star Trek I started, leaning to the optimism, the joy, the camaraderie, the family dynamics, the just the optimism of it, that one day I can look around me and not see all of this negativity and destruction and mayhem. An hour a day I can turn on the TV when Star Trek aired. And for younger people, this was before streaming, man. You had to actually wait on the show to come on a designated day at a designated time. You actually had a TV guide that you could, a book that they used to mail to your house or you used to buy from the store. Man, they have to tell you everything about the shows for the week, and then the lineup. But we'll sit in front of the TV, man, and we'll just escape into that world. And that world became kind of a religion for me, a way of thinking. So I started to ingest as much as I could, whether it be not just from the show, but from comic books, from the animated series, from canon sources, from non-canon sources. I read about Kirk and Spock having a gay relationship, man, back in like the early 90s, all right, long before people being surprised about it now, okay? And it was just the craziest little book, man. It seemed like somebody like typed it out on a word processor. Word processors. It's kind of like a typewriter. Okay, typewriter. It's your keyboard and it's your keyboard, but with ribbons and actual paper. But um yeah, man. So that became my escape. The adventures of Kirk, Scotty, Spock, Bones, the things they used to get into, the way that they used to, the things that they believed. The Gene really spoke to a lot of people in that aspect. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I am a Trekkie, what got me into Star Trek, and why I love it so much. Like I said, because to me it kind of saved my life. It was an escape, from where I was, or something me and my dad could really do together and have fun doing. So, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And as always, peace, recycle, and see the whales. You guys be cool.